Hey doing everyone, it's Joe here from Living the Learn. I've been looking forward to making this video for quite some time. It's been a long time coming, but I didn't want to make it till I had it down pat. And thanks to Will Coleman and his first aid posts and a recent injury I had at camp, and which enveloped in a long talk between Andy and Will, two very experienced medical backgrounded guys, I was able to fine tune this, and with the help of my journals, I got it down pat. I went back over. These are all my old journals here, field journals, and this is my latest one. Some of you may have seen Lee Jones's posts. Lee Jones is a lovely guy and an amazing bushcrafter and a content creator for the Living to Learn community. He posted his journal recently, and it is a work of art of heirloom quality. I have not got an artistic bone in my body, but I am an engineering kind of guy, and I work better in the Excel spreadsheet and facts and figures and case studies kind of world, and I treat my journals the same way. Journals are great for remembering knowledge, but they're also a fantastic way of keeping track of your kit and speeding up your kit development and kit growth and skill growth, because I keep spreadsheets and charts of everything I bring to camp, everything I do at camp, everything I wish I had at camp, and so on and so forth, and I look forward to doing a video on them as part of the community questions series. There's been guys and girls asking about those, but today's one is this. It's my first aid kit, my first 3-stage supplementary first aid kit. In my Rockwell video I talk about bushcraft knowledge and the 80-20 rule, and how out of all of the diaspora of knowledge that's out there, only 20% of it will apply to you, and this will help speed up your bushcraft learning and your kit learning and kit evolution. So I sat down and I built up this 3-stage kit. I figured, what do I do the most? You could end up with a first aid kit this size if you always practice for every eventuality, but to quote Ray J, the pioneer of ultralight backpacking, most of the time what people carry with them isn't kit but their fears. And keeping a journal and the chronological stuff like that, I tend to agree with part of that statement, but keeping a journal and stuff allows you to trim it down. So this is more just an overview of the setup that I have, and you should tailor make, especially your first aid kit, you should tailor make it to your requirements, and the only way you can do that is by getting dirt time and keeping a chronological record of it. So I figured, what do I do most? I day hike and I overnight camp. I'm very rarely solo, and this is also a supplementary kit because me and my friends operate the buddy system. So on a trip, someone will bring the first aid stuff, enough for 2 people or 3 people, and some will bring food and stuff instead. And we work that way. It allows for lighter loads too. Your friends are your kit. So first up is my day hike one. We walk through the stages. This is just a simple leather pouch made for me by Toby Hobby from Red Kite Leatherworks. No guesses there. Great member of the community, and congratulations Toby on the ambassadorship. But this will always be in my haversack. In fact, I had to get this out of my bag from a recent trip I was on just a couple of days ago. But I will always have this, and it is great for camps, something small and compact for this, because if I decide to go for a wonder, because I would bring both of these, like this whole system is based on 3 stages, so the first stage, and I would be able to throw this in my back pocket or throw it in my haversack and go for a dander, and at least have some amount of first aid supplies with me. Now, there's stuff in here that there's more of some and less of some, but I found, keeping my chronological stuff, this is what I use the most, and that's how it will help you move forward, because instead of carrying 4 or 5 pieces of something you never use and only carrying 1 piece of stuff that you use all the time, you get the gist. So just a quick rundown, because like that, most first aid kits should be tailor-made. The survivalist in me always has water purification tablets. I have some band-aids. I have a heap of steri strips for all of us who work with sharps. These are cuttable ones. These are very cool. It's one big long roll, and you can cut them to size. These are already made to measure. Some more diorolite. This is something I find very few people do. I have anti-diarrhea pills. One's after popping out there. Blister packs can't be always trusted. And I keep the instructions for it, because under a stressful situation, or you could just forget, you can put some medication into your pouch and forget about it, but I tend to cut the instructions and dosage and the amount of dosage off the back, and it's just a piece of paper. It takes nothing to slide that in, so at least I can take it out and I know the dosage for my pills. Some antibacterial wipes, and the one thing I carry a lot of, you see here I only have a few plasters, but I carry a lot of burn gel, because the one thing I've noticed in my journals is that at most camps the one thing that tends to happen a lot is burns from just taking pots and pans in and out of the fire and adjusting the fire and stuff, and you tend to singe the old fingertips. So I carry a lot more boron gel than plasters, but I use a lot more boron gel. Diorite and stuff like that is kind of part of the course. Again, it's my day hike pouch. So I like it for day hike stuff. I could get a bit dehydrated, so on. Again, I find that's what I use. And also some things that I wish I had at bad times in the field. Just clear this off here. No fancy editing up in this place. So secondly, you have stage 2 and stage 3. This would be my overnighter or multi-day kind of trip, especially if I'm tasked with carrying the first aid items. This is what I would bring. If I'm only going solo, I would only bring stage 1, which you saw, and stage 2, which is in here. So we'll open it up really quick. And bam, you have stage 2 here, which is clearly marked. And the reason why I call it stage 2 is because I am a hemophiliac and I need certain medications to deal with bleeding. And like over the last event I was at teaching, I managed to get a pretty nasty gash, which kind of opened up this way in my hand, and Will and Andy treated me. But every time I have to take out my first aid kit, I learn lessons about it. And when all was said and done, I took notes, what was used, what needed to be stocked, and how my wound was treated. And it was treated by those two guys who are professionals at what they do. So this is what I came up with. This is my immediate wound dressing kit built to my needs. So instantly we have some vinyl gloves for whoever may have to treat me, and I have some quick clot for my wounds with instructions on the back. And then I have antiseptic dressings, I have stuff for flushing the wound, I have some more steri strips to hand, more skin closure strips, and a huge length of plaster that can be cut, adjustable plaster. So that is stage 2. And this, if I'm going on a solo trip, can be paired up with this, and I'm good. I've got my specialist medication should I have a nasty nick, and then I got my immediate kind of day hike stuff with my plasters and everything else. And this will do me fine on an overnighter. Again, I've kept records of all the trips I've been on, and thankfully, touch wood, it's something that I very rarely encounter, but that should do fine. Next of all is stage 3, which is kind of more wound care and aftercare. This is a fantastic trick showed to me by Will Coleman for a method of dispensing. This is silk tape, and if you only have one hand, it's a handy way to do it, and it keeps it accessible immediately. I have some Neosporin, some triple antibiotic cream, an iPad, and some TCP. All aftercare for the wound once bleeding is stopped and you want to start treating infections. I got a syringe for flushing, a Sharpie for keeping notes. I've seen the amazing advantages to this when Will and Andy treated someone at an event that just had a bit of a bad day, and while they were waiting for the ambulance, they used the Sharpie to keep notes everywhere, and it allows them to write on bottles and stuff. I got some wound closure kits and some drainage needles for blisters. I have Diorite everywhere, so this is no exception. Again, this is supplementary kit for 2 people at times. On the left, I have wet dressings, and on the right, I have dry dressings. In wet dressings, for example, this is for the larger ones. I was at a camp one time where a guy spilt an entire cup of tea, which you wouldn't think would be that dangerous, but he spilt an entire cup of tea over his hand, and it was bad. So on the wet dressings, I have again more steri strips, but I have Adaptic. These are fantastic for non-adherent dressing. They come off, they don't take scabs, especially over burns or blisters on your heel. They allow skin to grow through it, and they won't lift it all away. I have some larger, fully burn dressings, and again, these are why they are wet, or why I call them wet dressings. Some more hemostatic dressings for my hemophilia. Adaptic, again more sutures, and another large burn shield plaster, and they go in the wet dressing side. The dry dressing side needs no real explanation, I suppose. Just some iPads, again great for wound closures, multi-purpose. More wound dressings. The obligatory Pepper Pig plasters and adjustable plasters, again a 2-day kit, or a 2-person kit. So there you go, guys. I just wanted a quick rundown. I'll leave them to the side for a minute. I just wanted to give you a quick rundown. It's taken me a long time to build this up, and I'm hoping it will give you some ideas. You don't have to build an exact copy, because this is tailor-made to me and over my 4 or 5 years doing this experience of what I've used and what I haven't used in the field. So we've got the big stage, the second stage, and the day hike stage, and then they all work together if I was going on a large expedition, I would bring all 3 of them for various reasons, and it stops me splitting up, and I got a pretty comprehensive kit. Also, if you have any special requirements or medication like me with my haemophilia, that it's always good to tell the people you're camping with. Don't be embarrassed. It will save you in the long run, and maybe people will lead by example. And if you tell them that you're a haemophiliac and that your specific medication is in a specific part of your bag, or you keep it in a certain pocket on your trousers or on your clothes, it will help you longer in the long run. So thanks for watching, and if you fancy posting up vids of your first aid kits, I'd love to see them. And as always, I'll check you out in the community. Joe from Living to Learn, out.